Roles of a denizen. A content creator is a user that creates posts and is rewarded based on the quality of their content. A content evaluator is a user that helps assess the quality of content and enforces community standards. The evaluator is effectively taking part in a marketplace to curate content and is rewarded for early evaluation. A content consumer is a user that wishes to find and consume the most valuable content in a given subject area or within a community. A lair owner is a person holding tokenized ownership of all or part of a community lair. Owners are rewarded with a portion of all mining activity happening within their lair. Owners are incentivized to build the best community of content creators and evaluators.
Welcome to today's DENDAO meeting. I'm your host of the meeting, shall we say. It's really not a video, it's a meeting, or conducting the meeting. I am, and the elected leader of the DENDAO for Den.Social. And that title happens to be Emperor. So I am maybe the first in the world Emperor of a DAO. And I'm happy to report that things are progressing as we move Den.Social into a rebranding mode. And the white paper is getting closer. We will share just a little bit about that here in the meeting today. Let's take a look at what's on the agenda for our today's meeting. Also, you're free to join the meeting. And if you go to the DENDAO Lair on Den.Social, there'll be the most recent post within that post for the DENDAO meeting. And by the way, today is May the 15th, 2025. You can find that link, click on it, and bring you onto the screen. All right. So let's take a look at our agenda for today. First is we'll talk about the open governance vote, see if what's out there. We encourage you to always bring new users and post in the introduce yourself layer. Growing Den.Social, where to subscribe, where to grow, and the rebranding of Den.Social to DePlatform. And we'll take another look at that logo, and then we'll look at the open forum if there's any questions, comments for today's meeting. So that's the meeting agenda today. Let's get right into it. Opening our current votes and what's out there. Let's take a look here. I think that's here. We have. First of all, let me take this off first. Behind me is Happy Birthday to You and 4 years anniversary for. Right, this side, World Blockchain Roundtable. Today was the 4th year, episode 208 of the World Blockchain Roundtable, which is the first podcast show with the DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And this is where people can go to Den.Social and go to the World Blockchain Roundtable Lair and take part in the show by posting proposals or changes to the show, posting questions, or posting themes for future shows. And it allows the audience to have a participatory role in what the show talks about. So today was episode 208, or the 4th anniversary of this longest in the world, another first for Den.Social, longest in the world to having a podcast that is truly ran by a DAO. And it showcased Den.Social's technology and its capabilities, and it also showcases the perseverance of World Blockchain Roundtable. So we had our normal show today. We took a little side tour, and Joe talked about the origin story of World Blockchain Roundtable, also known as WBRT. And so as your emperor, I raise a toast to the World Blockchain Roundtable and to its DAO, the longest, oldest podcast in the world with the DAO. Salute you. Happy birthday. So on today's show, there was some discussion amongst the panelists if it's GIF or GIF, and the spelling is GIF, and how should it be pronounced? Who invented it? How did the inventor pronounce it? And there's some strong opinions, shall we say, so strong that Joe Dragon had to create a proposal for the show's podcast. He wants a rule, a law be laid down, and it so decided on the show what is the proper accepted pronunciation of the word GIF or GIF. And so we'll click on that real quick. Should it be GIF with a hard G? There's 3 votes for that already, 15%. Or GIF with a J sound, like the peanut butter brand, Jif peanut butter. So far, there are no votes for that, and there are 3 votes for GIF. So if you own lot in this layer, the World Blockchain Roundtable layer, if you have a certain way that you think this should be pronounced in the English language, and I guess that would flow over 2 other languages, then make your vote known, make your voice heard, and make your vote count, and make a decision. Post your vote. So this is, like I said, there were very strong feelings and emotions that were displayed on the show today about the pronunciation. So there you have it. That is the only proposal. By the way, you go over here to the into the menu section on the right hand side. There's a section that's called governance, and it flagged will be anything that you haven't voted for, and this is all layer. GI is the little where you see my cursor, the world, next to the dragon logo. So there it is. That's the only governance vote issue that is open at the current time. So that takes care of number 1 on our agenda. Number 2 on our agenda is welcoming new users. Introduce yourself layer. Again, I encourage everyone to check this out every day. Go here, look and see if there's any new users who have posted an introduction to themselves, or possibly, and this is where I also encourage those who are watching or listening to the meeting, that you also go to the, if you haven't been on Den.Social in a while, then reintroduce yourself. And so we can welcome you back. And so that's what this layer is for. I encourage everyone to do that. And if you're bringing a new person to the family to become a denizen, then tell them to introduce themselves so they can be showered with gifts, and not GIF gift, like in energy and maybe tips and matter. You'll feel welcomed, I'm sure. So that takes care of number 2, new users. Introduce yourself layer. I talk about this every time. I also talk about this, growing Den.Social, and subscribe and follow. That I'm asking us fellow denizens, make sure you go over to the X platform and follow us over there. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Telegram. The reason for that is if someone is kind of investigating Den.Social, they're going to go to the normal channels and see how many people are over there. Yes, in a sense, you could say there are competition, but on the other hand, people look and see how many people or how many users are over there. And it's part of the measurement if a project is a viable and growing project. So let's bump up our numbers on those external locations. All right, next. In our meeting, I have posted again, rebranding Den.Social to DePlatform. And I wanted to briefly talk about that. And there's going to be a lot of discussion here in the future regarding this. Let me add something else here I want to bring up. I bring this up here for everyone to see. Here you go. DePlatform. This is a proposed draft of for the logo. I happen to like it, the idea of DePlatform, because people have been deplatformed from other social media for their political free speech. They've been crossed out or below the line of the red line. They've crossed the red line on other platforms, other social media sites, and DePlatform is to come underneath that censorship and provide a new platform for political free speech around the world. For those in Europe, for those in the UK, this is becoming a bigger and bigger problem for people to be able to speak up and have a place to speak, have a platform to voice their concerns or to voice their opinions that may be contrary to different governments. And that's the idea behind it. There's a strong need, we believe, for this. There's been a lot of proof in the pudding, shall we say, because there are a number of individuals who have even left their country for to be able to speak out about how their home country is dealing with contrary views, shall we say, to their government. So I wanted to bring this up because this was one iteration of the vision for DePlatform. And I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention. This is on the white paper that's being written as we speak. And one visionary statement is DePlatform is a decentralized streaming and content platform owned by creators and their communities. See how that sounds just like Den.Social. You have ownership in layers. Well, consider those layers channels. And you're a content creator in a channel. And so now you have ownership. Now imagine if you had a larger following, maybe on X or on YouTube, let's say, and you're a content creator, a content influencer on YouTube. Well, you could own the channel, your community that follows you, that's all they can really do is they can subscribe. They might have a membership. YouTube takes a big chunk of that membership fees. And people have an interest to follow you because they like your videos, they like your content, they like the information you're presenting, but they can't have ownership in that. And we like the idea of making Den.Social into also a streaming format, a video format, and not just replay YouTube where people a lot of times will self-censor. So creators compete for ownership in the platform itself. So this is kind of like the Matter token. You compete on the platform to earn Matter. Matter is the platform token for Den.Social. where the communities compete for partial ownership of each channel. So the idea being here that's being talked about, and it certainly is not anywhere close to being finalized, or because it would have to come to a vote for the denizens would need to be presented a proposal. Denizens would have to vote on it. It would have to pass. But the idea being that right now, once a layer, I'm going to call a layer a channel for conversation here, or description reasons, narrative description reasons. Think of the channel tokens or lot tokens almost being identical. The only difference here is the more views, the more interaction that layer or channel has on the platform would receive new tokens. In other words, the lot would not be capped. It would grow, or the channel tokens would grow weekly, monthly, or whatever it may be, probably more on a monthly basis. And so new users could come in and become active on that channel and could start earning channel tokens, rather than like how it is right now with Den. Den creates a layer, people are active and excited about it, the layer starts having more interaction, more comments, more video postings, more which is YouTube videos, more discussion, more photos, more images posted. But then maybe the owners kind of drop off, but new users cannot have any ownership. They would have to get it from the owners that are no longer active in that layer. Well, this would solve that issue or that problem, in that you would, if your channel is growing, or if your channel has a lot of activity in it, then it would be rewarded channel tokens to the individuals who's creating that activity. So it says where communities compete for partial ownership of each channel. It's a solution to one of the problems we have on Den, and I like it because think of it in another way. Content creators and their community are linked by follows, but they're not linked in ownership. They're not linked by supporting the main content creator on, I'd say, a YouTube channel. So this binds that community to the content creator in a much more tighter role, because now they have shared ownership. And the content creator that's created this channel obviously is going to have, I would think, majority interest or majority control of the channel, but everyone in the community would also have a vote or a say and could make proposals. It would be a DAO, just like our layers are today, but they would be in the form of a channel. And I think that is going to make the community members much more connected to the content creator, the content influencer. I think it's a beautiful idea. So it's taking Den.Social to the next level, if this can be pulled off. And then it says, in the vision, it says, the last sentence here, platform users decentralize content using the BitTorrent protocol, making the content uncancelable. Like I said, there are people that we've been approached by that are looking for a video streaming platform where they can't be canceled, that is decentralized. And the best way we have right now might be using BitTorrents. Now, here's what's interesting. When Den.Social was created, it was created and later added to be able to add video postings, which it's really just a video player for YouTube. But they'd also started creating and working with BitTorrents, and it was tested briefly, but it was never actually rolled out. So a lot of that code and that language is already built into Den.Social. It's just an enhancement that was never, shall we say, turned on, and bugs worked out or anyway. So it's very close. It was very close to being able to do that enhancement. and to make Den.Social not just like a Reddit, but to make it also a Reddit and a YouTube platform, based type platform. That is kind of the vision here. There is more information. I'm not going to read all of this that I put together here, but it just basically says that video streaming platforms have experienced a plague of censorship and cancellation in recent years. Think of the COVID timeframe. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and even X, formerly known as Twitter, have all banned and suppressed accounts for countless reasons. Maybe their politics didn't match some of the users' politics, and they forced those onto us. I'll go ahead and read the other part. This ever-present cancel culture was intended to cause a chilling effect on free speech. Let me stop right there. Even though X might have changed and may have been a benefit for some, others didn't like the ownership change and moved to something like Mastodon. YouTube has an example of a competitor by the name of Rumble. Rumble is a stock and it's publicly traded, and it could be subject to certain censorship. YouTube, we already know, has certain censorship, and it's maybe trying to relax itself. It's some of its narrative or censorship, but nonetheless, it's still there. We saw that very prominently in the COVID. I don't want to call it a crisis, but what was taking place in COVID, certain belief systems, ideas, philosophies were certainly, pushed, supported, presented, made trending, while opposing viewpoints of these centralized systems pushed and shunned the others, shadow banned, or outright canceled them. And this is where it became called the cancel culture. So I'll finish here. It says, however, it resulted in creating some of the most exclusive, sought after, content on the internet. So people were looking for alternative answers, alternative truths, if you will. And hence the reason for DePlatform. So, like I said, I'm not going to read all of this, but just this last section here, DePlatform represents an organic model to incorporate social enterprise goals in pursuit of positive impact on the world. So the goal here of DePlatform is, well, to present a place for not just cat videos, but maybe political free speech videos. And there'll be different channels, and people will be able to, support the channel or not support the channel, or have, political dialogue on areas of concern, or, debates, if you will. And each channel will have a DAO, just like each layer has a DAO. And I think that it's underestimated how many people censor themselves on, say, YouTube and even on X, and how people aren't aware of how many channels have been canceled or are shadow banned. Shadow banned meaning they're, like they say on X, free speech but limited reach. Well, let the community decide what the reach should be. All right, so that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea on a better understanding of DePlatform. You can certainly see the roots of Den.Social and what it has created being intertwined into this concept of DePlatform. I really like the idea that lot tokens and Lair become channel tokens, but actually grow, they're monthly in quantity to allow new users to come in and earn more tokens, especially if other individuals who own lot kind of fall off by the wayside and are no longer active. Well, then new proposals to the Lair become a problem. And there you have it. So that is what I wanted to share with you. Let's take this off. I'm going to bring back our meeting agenda. Here. There it is. Okay, so that tells you a little bit more about the rebranding of Den.Social to DePlatform, a little bit about the concepts behind it, and you can certainly see the strong influence on Den.Social to be able to build DePlatform and let it evolve, or Den.Social to evolve into a video streaming platform in addition to what we already have. Questions of matter, lore, lot, all of these things still have to be worked out. There's a lot of details to be figured out, a lot of proposals that will be submitted for the community to vote on, and there you have it. So another introduction to DePlatform. I'm going to refresh, see if there's any other comments, and there are no other comments. So that concludes today's meeting for the DENDAO meeting for May the 15th, 2025. Again, lastly, governance votes, keep an eye on that. Watch for new users in the introduce yourself layer. Invite new users to use that. If you want to, you're coming back to DIN, and go there, and we'll show you some love. Follow us on the other social media locations. Rebranding of Den.Social to DePlatform. Those ongoing talks and white paper is still being written. It's getting closer. And there you have it. That is today's DENDAO meeting. Without any further ado, we will end the meeting today on that, and look forward to seeing you again, same time, same channel, same location next week. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good week. And make sure you post something in DENDAO if you have questions. I'll follow up on them, and they can even be entered into next week's meeting. Thank you. Have a good week. Stay safe. And congratulations to World Blockchain Roundtable, 4 years. Take care, everybody. See ya.